So, let's compare Nigeria to South Africa. Today, we'll break our comparison down into 6 categories: basic information, geography, people, economies, militaries, and of course, any other random crap I could think of. Nigeria and South Africa, basic info, are 2 African giants located in different regions of the continent. Modern-day Nigeria gained independence on October 1st, 1960, while South Africa formally gained independence from Britain on May 31st, 1910. However, the current Republic of South Africa was established on May 10, 1995, after the end of apartheid. South Africa's head of state is President Cyril Ramaphosa of the African National Congress Party. Nigeria's head of state and the de facto head of government is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is a member of the All Progressives Congress Party. Nigeria's national animal is the eagle, which can be seen here on its coat of arms. For their national animal, the South Africans decided to go with a springbok, which can be seen here on the logo of its national rugby team. Both Nigeria and South Africa are democracies, but Nigeria is a federal republic, while South Africa is a unitary semi-federal democratic republic. In Nigeria, governmental powers are divided between the central federal government based in Abuja and the state governments. However, in South Africa, the national government based in Pretoria and Cape Town holds more centralized authority, though some powers are devolved to the provinces. The Nigerian flag has 3 vertical stripes, 2 green outer stripes representing the nation's natural wealth, flanked by a white central stripe symbolizing peace and unity. This iconic design has remained unchanged since Nigeria's independence in 1960. In contrast, the South African flag features horizontal bands of red on the top and blue on the bottom, separated by a central green band that splits into a distinctive horizontal Y shape, with the arms extending to the corners of the hoist side. Adopted in 1994, this bold new flag blended colors and symbols representing the country's diverse peoples as it transitioned to democracy. In terms of area, both Nigeria and South Africa are sizable nations by African standards. Nigeria has a total land area of 923,768 sq.km, or approximately 356,700 sq miles. South Africa's area is 1,219,090 sq.km, which translates to around 471,000 sq miles. This makes the total land area of South Africa roughly 1.32 times larger than that of Nigeria. For a visual comparison, here is Nigeria's area overlaid on the map of Africa, and here is South Africa's size represented on the same scale. When highlighting their relative sizes on other continent maps, this is Nigeria and South Africa overlaid on Europe. Here they are depicted across North America. This shows their areas across South America, and here they are scaled across Asia. Nigeria is 98.3% land, with only 1.7% consisting of water bodies. South Africa, on the other hand, is 94.4% land, while 5.6% of its area is covered by water. Nigeria boasts a total coastline length of 853 kilometers, or 530 miles, along the Gulf of Guinea. In comparison, South Africa has a significantly longer shoreline, measuring 2,798 kilometers, or 1,739 miles, stretching across 2 oceans, the Atlantic and Indian. This gives South Africa over 3 times the amount of coastline as Nigeria when quantified in kilometers or miles. For the metrically challenged, Nigeria is a federal republic divided into 36 states and the federal capital territory of Abuja. Lagos is its largest and most populous state, with over 12 million inhabitants, while Bayelsa is the smallest and least populous, with around 2 million residents. 3 Nigerian cities, Lagos, Kano, and Port Harcourt, have populations exceeding 1 million. South Africa is divided into 9 provinces. Gauteng, home to over 15 million people, including the cities of Johannesburg and Pretoria, is the most populous province. Northern Cape has the smallest population of around 1.3 million. Nigeria shares land borders with 4 countries: Benin to the west, Chad and Cameroon to the east, and Niger to the north. It does not have any maritime borders with other nations. South Africa borders 6 sovereign states: Namibia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe to the north, Mozambique and Eswatini to the east, and the Kingdom of Lesotho, which is entirely surrounded by South African territory. While both Nigeria and South Africa feature diverse landscapes, their geographic and climatic profiles differ considerably. Nigeria is characterized by plains, swamps, low plateaus, and hills, with the highest point being Chapal Wadi at 2,419 meters. Its climate is primarily tropical, with the far north experiencing a semi-arid climate. In contrast, South Africa's terrain ranges from the plateau interior to mountains, semi-deserts, and coastal belts. It has greater variations, with the Drakensberg Range containing its highest peak, Thabana Ntlanyana, at 3,482 meters. Climatically, it spans from the subtropical coastlines to a semi-arid central region and temperate conditions in the interior. Nigeria and South Africa are among the most populous nations in Africa, though they exhibit contrasting population growth trajectories. Nigeria, with over 223 million inhabitants, has a high 2.6% population growth rate. South Africa, on the other hand, has a population of around 60 million, but a much lower 0.6% growth rate. Globally, Nigeria ranks as the sixth most populous country, following behind Pakistan and ahead of Brazil. South Africa comes in 25th, between France and Italy in population size. Overall, for every South African, there are approximately 3.66 Nigerians. Nigeria's largest and most populous cities are Lagos, Kano, Ibadan, Kaduna, Port Harcourt, Benin City, Maiduguri, Zaria, Aba, and Jos. While the city of Lagos has a massive population of over 13 million, its broader metropolitan area is home to over 21 million people. South Africa's major cities by population are Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, Soweto, Pretoria, Port Elizabeth, Pietermaritzburg, Benoni, Bloemfontein, and Tembisa. The Gauteng province, anchored by Johannesburg and Pretoria, contains South Africa's largest concentration of residents. In Nigeria, around 53.1% speak one of the three largest languages, Hausa, 27.7%, Yoruba, 14.7%, and Igbo, 10.7%, as their mother tongue. However, English is the official language and lingua franca, spoken by around 53% of the population. Other major Nigerian languages include Fulani, Kanuri, Ijaw, and Tiv. South Africa has 11 official languages, with Zulu, 23.8%, and Xhosa, 17.6%, being the most widely spoken home languages. English is the fourth most common home language at 8.1%, but is widely used as the lingua franca, especially in government and business. Afrikaans is spoken by around 13.5% as a first language. In Nigeria, 53.5% of the population are Muslims. 45.9% are Christians, with tiny minorities following traditional religions, 0.4%, or other faiths, 0.2%. South Africa has a more diverse religious landscape. 79.8% are Christians, 1.5% are Muslims, 0.3% are Jewish, 1.4% follow African traditional religions, 15.1% have no religious affiliation, and 1.9% are unspecified or follow other beliefs. In Nigeria, around 49.3% of the population is male, while 50.7% is female. Approximately 49.6% of South Africans are male, and 50.4% female. Nigeria's median age is 18.4, while South Africa's median age is 26.9. Both countries generally have young populations. South Africa's older population indicates a better quality of life over the economy. Nigeria-South Africa is often considered to be Africa's primary industrial and economic powerhouse, and its economy is certainly reflective of that title. Everything from cars and appliances to smartwatches and mobile phones is made there. South Africa's GDP is $45 billion, making it the third largest African economy and 37th globally. With a GDP of $477 billion, Nigeria has the largest economy in Africa and the 30th largest in the world. In 2022, Nigeria's economy grew by 3.6%, while South Africa's expanded at a slower 2.1% rate. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic in 2019, Nigeria's GDP growth was 2.3%, compared to 0.2% for South Africa. While Nigeria accounts for 2.7% of the global population, its economy represents only about 0.5% of world GDP. Conversely, South Africa makes up just 0.7% of the world's population, but contributes around 0.4% to the global economy. Nigeria is home to major conglomerates like Dangote Group, Globacom, Nigerian Breweries, Rand Merchant Bank, Access Bank, Zenith Bank, and First Bank. Notable South African companies and brands include Anglo American, MTN Group, Clicks, Standard Bank, Absa Group, ShopRite, Sasol, Bidvest, Naspers, and Massmart. South Africa's GDP per capita of around $6,776 is comparable to nations like Botswana, Gabon, and Congo. Nigeria's much lower GDP per capita of approximately $2,100 is on par with places like Eswatini, Ghana, and Uzbekistan. Overall, South Africa's GDP per capita is nearly 2.8 times higher than Nigeria's. Nigeria uses the Nigerian naira as its official currency, while South Africa uses the South African rand. As of 2023, $1 US is equal to around 1,500 Nigerian naira and 18 South African rand. Both Nigeria and South Africa rank among the world's largest importers and exporters of goods. In 2023, Nigeria imported around $52 billion worth of goods, while exporting $50 billion. South Africa imported $115 billion and exported $122 billion over the same period. Overall, Nigeria comes in as the 51st largest importer and 52nd largest exporter globally, while South Africa is the 37th largest importer and 39th largest exporter worldwide. About 32.1% of the South African population are unemployed, while Nigeria has an unemployment rate of 5%. Aliko Dangote, the founder and chairman of Dangote Cement, is Nigeria's richest person, with an estimated net worth of $13.5 billion. His sprawling conglomerate has interests spanning sugar, salt, and flour manufacturing, in addition to its cement production business. South Africa's wealthiest individual is Nicky Oppenheimer, the former chair of diamond producer De Beers and heir to the Oppenheimer fortune, with a net worth estimated around $8 billion. While Nicky Oppenheimer's wealth pales in comparison to the vast $13.5 billion empire amassed by Nigeria's preeminent tycoon, Dangote, the average income in Nigeria is roughly $2,160 per year, while the average income in South Africa sits at about $16,800. South Africa is the only African country to have ever owned nuclear weapons. However, in 1989, South Africa became the first and the only country to have ever destroyed their own nukes, in an effort to make the world a better place. Nigeria has one of the largest militaries in Africa, with around 223,000 active personnel and 32,000 reservists, totaling approximately 255,000 troops. South Africa's military is relatively smaller, consisting of around 66,500 active-duty personnel and 15,000 reservists, a combined force of 81,500. Both South Africa and Nigeria drop tens of billions of dollars on their militaries each year. Nigeria spends $3.48 billion on its military, while South Africa spends $2.81 billion. South Africa ranks fifth for its expenditures in Africa, while Nigeria ranks fourth. Both nations collaborate through the African Union, despite, well, I guess you could say a bit of a rocky history. Both are also good buddies with Ghana, China, Russia, the United States, the United Kingdom, and the rest of NATO. South Africa also has very close allies in the BRICS, including Ethiopia, Brazil, India, Egypt, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. Meanwhile, some of their greatest adversaries include Boko Haram, Israel, and rebels on the continent. Overall, Nigeria is ranked as having Africa's fourth strongest military, while South Africa is ranked as having Africa's third strongest military. Football, or soccer, if you're capitalist, is the most popular sport in both Nigeria and South Africa, with both countries having AFCON wins. The South Africans have 1 AFCON win, while Nigeria has 3 AFCON wins.
God have mercy upon us.
Murtala Mohammed Airport is Nigeria's busiest airport, receiving 6.5 million passengers in 2023. Or Tambo International Airport is South Africa's busiest airport, receiving over 21 million passengers in 2023. South Africa's most famous landmark is either Kruger National Park or Table Mountain. Nigeria's most famous landmark is probably the Zuma Rock in Abuja. Davido is Nigeria's most followed person on Instagram, with 29 million followers. AB de Villiers is South Africa's most followed person on Instagram, with over 24.4 million followers. Superhero in Training, with over 8 million subscribers, is South Africa's most subscribed YouTube channel. Meanwhile, Mark Angel Comedy, with over 9 million subscribers, is Nigeria's most subscribed YouTube channel. Conclusion: in my opinion, Nigeria is far better than South Africa. But if you disagree with me, let me know in the comment below. Click here to watch more videos. And ladies and gentlemen, we just hit 5,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, goodbye.